No camera. That's weird. Aha. There it is. Okay. All right. The Baker camera. The Baker family. The Oswald family. The Osborne family. Hall, Long, Wallace. These are names that you're going to learn more about. This is part of the rainbow attack on America that goes back at least since the Civil War. And this idea that we are not being replaced in this society or attacked by the rainbow. And by the rainbow, you're going to have to use your imagination, because if you say certain words, you get zapped, don't you? So that's proof right there in and of itself that it's not we're attacking them. It's that you're the one being attacked. You've already been replaced. Just most people don't have the guts to stand up and say, yeah, we recognize that we have been replaced. It's not you're being replaced. You've been replaced. You have probably 80 to 90% of actors in Hollywood already ascribe to a lifestyle consistent with the rainbow. And they're still screaming, hey, it's not enough. They're being discriminated against. But who's really being discriminated against? Well, you are, because you're not even allowed to talk the right words about them. So who's being discriminated against here? Well, I am. Just like, and the rainbow always rides racial issues. Who's really being attacked in this country? Is it the minority races? No. Minority races have every advantage and opportunity known to mankind and run and are promoted in every possible scenario and way, including sports. You're always going to find tons of minorities in sports today. So, and they're all multimillionaires. I mean, you have some of the richest women, that are like Oprah, that are minorities. $80 million a year was last I bet she makes a lot more than that. That was a really old number I heard like 10 years ago. So, $80 million a year, but those poor persecuted minorities, right? Well, it's the same thing with the rainbow. Well, the rainbow's been attacking you since at least the Civil War. It is a movement that comes from England. This is out of straight out of England. When you, as Americans, you threw the monarchy out of your country, then the monarchy attacked back, okay, because they wanted their wealth. They didn't want to lose all that money that they had here in America. Just because they had to outlaw slaves in their country doesn't mean they wanted you to outlaw slavery in this country. No, they attacked you through slavery, and riding on the coattails of slavery was the rainbow. So that's easily demonstrable, as we're going to show here. So we're going to talk about that name Baker. That Baker name is extremely important. I attempted to share screen last time and I made a mistake, but I think I know what I did. So we get a window. Let's go back to the Civil War. Let's see. Do I have that one up? Let's see. Chief of Staff. I don't have that one up, but Baker is one of the people who investigated Lincoln when he was murdered. Isn't that interesting? Let's share this one. Okay, here we go. And look at this. When Reagan was killed, who went to investigate? Oh, Chief of Staff James A. Baker. Now, this will all make more sense here in a minute, because the Bakers are the people who are killing presidents with the rainbow. And that's the premise that I'm bringing to you today. You remember recently, not too long ago, probably about a year ago, Johnny Depp was like, how long has it been since an actor has killed a president? They've been doing it a long time, but why actors? You ever notice that actors are very, very soft and welcoming to the rainbow community? Of course they are. And the rainbow community has been attacking and killing presidents in this country since the Civil War. So let's talk about how some of the Baker family's been used in attacking America and how it comes from England. Let's go to share screen here. Let's do Sarah Baker. Here we go. Straight from England. And I believe that's shared. Yep. So here you have, in England, you have the UK's longest serving transgender prisoner, Sarah Jane Baker. This comes from England. This is a British attack on America. This is why you have all your actors have been replaced by British actors and by the rainbow community. Isn't that interesting? So not only your actors, but your sports have been replaced and your music's being replaced. Even your country music by Osborne. So those are, I told you we talk about Osborne and the Wizard of Oz. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. So there's Sarah Jane Baker, the longest serving transgender prisoner in England. So let's we'll stop sharing that one and we'll go share another one here. Let's go. Oh, here's music. The Strippers Union. Oh, and who's running the Strippers Union? Rob Baker from Canada, the Queen's country, right? Straight out of England. The British still technically run Canada, right? And there you have Rob Baker and the Strippers Union. Gee, I wonder why they called it the Strippers Union. Okay, well, let's explain how Baker and the strippers all come together. Stop sharing that one. We are going to go to this one. Share. Okay. This is Josephine Baker, the first black stripper in America. And her book is called Josephine Baker and the Rainbow Tribe. Look it up. You can buy Josephine Baker and the Rainbow Tribe. Well, why is that interesting? Josephine Baker and the Rainbow Tribe. Well, did you ever notice that Jesse Jackson started the Rainbow Push Coalition? How is it that the black and rainbow always seem to go together? All the way back. This is, this is really interesting. Look how, read what it says down here. Josephine Baker, let's see, I gotta look through my bifocals here. She brought in to her final performance, she brought in Mick Jagger. Well, who was Mick Jagger married to? Hall. And didn't Mick Jagger sing, "Hey, who killed the Kennedys? After all, it was you and I"? Well, nobody believed him that he was singing what he actually did. I don't mean he pulled the trigger, but it was his family and people around him that killed Kennedy. And Hall is one of the names with Osborne, Long, Wallace, Baker, those that attacked and brought in the rainbow and attacked presidents. This all started with the story of Hugh Squire. Back in 1957, he was a 4-year-old boy, and his teacher, well, at 4 years old, he was first attacked by Osborne and raped in a basement with Hall, Long, Wallace, Anderson, and Andrews. This is why you have Anderson, the longest serving, the biggest rape case in Michigan right now out of Michigan University is against Anderson for raping all those girls. Anderson is along with this. So, and isn't it interesting that Anderson in the Matrix, his driver's license says 9/11 on it? Yeah. Gee, I wonder why. Gee, how many times do these people have to put 9/11 in movies before it happened, before we believe it? So many examples of that. Go to the movie Conspiracy Theory, where they make fun of you if you can put things together and have enough common sense to use some logic. And what happens is they mention, while they're making fun of you, they're talking about 9/11 twice and throwing out the 322 and all this stuff. So just common sense. If you can put it together, they're going to laugh at you. They're going to make fun of you. And that's just how it is. But these are the names that go together. So Baker, Long, Oswald. So Oswald, he was Osborne, rather. Osborne was in the basement. Osborne kidnapped Hugh at 4 years old. By the time he was in first grade, you had literally the teacher, his first grade teacher was Hamilton, who had played the Wicked Witch on The Wizard of Oz. Well, why? Why Oz, Osborne, Oswald? Oh, and then you have Osama bin Laden. Why all the Oz's? This all goes back to the Rainbow Attack on America. Why is it always Oz? Oz is Spider-Man's enemy. Osborne. Dr. Oz is Joan Rivers' doctor, right? As she says that Barack Obama's wife is a tranny, right? And guess what? A week later, Joan Rivers is dead. And now he's running for Senate in Pennsylvania, right? Pennsylvania, right there where one of the planes went down on 9/11. Gee, it's all just coincidence. I mean, everything's a coincidence. It's unbelievable just how many coincidences there are, isn't it? I mean, you see Baker going all the way back to the 1800s, involved with every single murder of every president, and it's just a coincidence. Right there in the hospital with Reagan, right there investigating. And they're in the Warren Commission investigating Lincoln's assassination. Always Baker. And then you have Baker, who's with who's dating Oswald with Kennedy. Oh, and she writes a book about David Ferry, a convicted pedophile. And she sticks up for these people. Why is it always Baker? And why are they always in with the pedophiles? And then you have Oswald was in the barracks with Osborne, who kidnapped Hugh, and Hugh's teacher was the Wicked Witch on the Wizard of Oz, where they sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And then you have, look at this, Josephine Baker in the Rainbow Tribe. Right there on your screen, the first black stripper in America. What's with the rainbow? Well, they adopted it and they turned it into the handkerchief code, didn't they? The handkerchief code is each color of the rainbow describes a different type of sex that a gay or transgender person likes to partake in. Okay, so, blue. Oh, what does blue mean in the handkerchief code? It means you like anal sex, right? That's, if you wear a blue handkerchief in your pocket, you're into anal sex. Well, then you got Somewhere Over the Rainbow where blue birds fly, and it's not a coincidence. Okay, these are the people who attacked this country since the Civil War with gays. It's not a coincidence that President Jefferson Davis was apprehended. Confederate President Jefferson Davis was apprehended and arrested, supposedly wearing a dress. Whether or not he was really in a dress when he was arrested, the news gave you that he was arrested in a dress. Why? Because this represented an attack and a stop on slave owners raping their slaves. That's the dirty secret of the South, folks. Slave owners were used for a lot more than just picking cotton. If you catch my drift, okay? So this is why slavery and the rainbow always ride coattails on each other. This is why you have Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Push Coalition right there in Chicago. And guess who comes out of Chicago? The guy who kept saying, I'm the first gay president. And his wife may or may not have been a tranny. According to Joan Rivers, she was a tranny. Oh, and she's dead a week later. And Oz was her doctor at the time, Dr. Oz. How do these things just keep going together? Oswald and Osborne. And Osborne and Oswald were together in the military barracks. I've got that video. You can go right there on my in my playlist, and you can see Mac Osborne with Oswald in the military. Who's Osborne? The person who kidnapped Hugh. Okay. And who was with her? Hall. And look right there on your screen. Okay, there's her last performance. There's Josephine Baker right there, and Mick Jagger's in there. Why is Mick Jagger in there when he's saying, oh, I killed the Kennedys? Who killed the Kennedys? After all, it was you and me. Oh, he married Hall, didn't he? And Hall was in the basement with Osborne attacking Hugh and other boys and killing little boys. Hugh's twin was killed in that basement. Hugh managed to escape, but his twin was killed and buried in Pennsylvania. And so now you have Dr. Oz running for Senate in Pennsylvania. Oh, and you think it's just a coincidence when this president became president that the first person he put into place was Attorney General, what's his name? Same name as the actor in Wizard of Oz. Hold on, Attorney Garland. There we go. It came back to me. So you have Judy Garland from the Wizard of Oz. Oh, and this guy who's attacking America relentlessly with the rainbow, putting in Peter Buttigieg from South Bend Inn, who just happens to be from the same place as Judith Ari Baker. What a coincidence. Man, there's a lot of coincidences in this guy. Just force-fed you another black rainbow as your press secretary now. Oh, it's just a coincidence, though. And the very first person he appoints as soon as he's elected is Garland, Judy Garland, right? Somewhere over the rainbow. This guy is part of a very long agenda to attack America. This president is here to attack and replace you, the straight person. Okay? And this has been going on in this country since at least the 1860s. And there you are. Josephine Baker married Hall. And Daryl Hall from Hall & Oates, was in the basement as a 13-year-old boy, pleasuring himself as the other boys were, other teenagers and men were attacking and raping little boys, killing the Oakland County children from the Oakland County child murders. And Hugh's twin, who was there, ends up being murdered and thrown in a field in Pennsylvania, where Oz, right now, who happened to be Joan Rivers' doctor, is running for Senate. Gee, you think that maybe there's some planning that goes into this? I'm amazed at the American mindset that thinks that there's no planning that ever goes on in America. That if you admit that there's people attacking, and that, countries like England that have thousands of years of, they even have an Office of Codes and Ciphers, and they attack countries for thousands of years. They don't plan what they do. You think they quit attacking America? I mean, right after the Revolutionary War, just 5 generations in, or 5 presidents in, rather, not generations, 5 presidents in, you already have Clinton, the general that we just defeated in the Revolution, and he's already vice president. Oh, gee, and Clinton ends up running the Clinton Works down there in Oak Ridge, doesn't he? And that's why they're selling uranium around the world. Oh, but nobody can put any of this together. You don't understand that these are attacks on England. I mean, in 1812, they burned the White House down already, didn't they? That was what, 20, 30 years after 1776. So 1886, 96, 06, 60, almost 40 years after the Revolution, England's still attacking America. You think they quit in 1812 just because we kicked their butts again? No, they didn't quit. They kept attacking America, but they attacked you through the rainbow, which rides on the coattails of black rights. This is what they do. And this is why you had the first black president coming out of Chicago. Here's your Penny Baker. Penny Baker from Playboy. Yeah, there's your Playmate. Sure are all these bakers. Isn't that something? Why are all the bakers strippers and transgenders and the first black stripper and writing about David Ferry, the gay pedophile, during Kennedy's assassination? Oh, and they all just happen to be related to Hall and the Hall story. And Hall was in the basement with Hugh, pleasuring himself. Oh yeah. Oh, but Hugh calls the FBI and they hang up on him when he tells their story. Well, he goes and tells the story, and he's got witnesses. He calls, tries to make police reports. Okay. The FBI hangs up on him, and when he tries to make police reports about Daryl Hall raping him in the basement with Osborne and Wallace and Long. Oh, gee, Wallace. Wallace was the name of the Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz, and even Hamilton said she was related to Wallace. And these are all governors, and Long was part of it. Long was a governor too. Oh, wow. Osborne was the governor of Kansas and Michigan. Gee, Didn't the Wizard of Oz happen in Kansas? And then right there in Governor Osborne's basement is where Osborne and Hall and Andrews and Anderson were all raping little boys. This is the rainbow attack on America, folks. There's no ifs, ands, or buts that it's been going on for a long time. This is demonstrable proof that you can't just throw out the window because you don't like it. You've been attacked from England. Okay, we'd already showed Sarah Jane Baker, the longest serving tranny, right? Okay. This is why the Queen knights gays, gay attacks, rainbow attacks on America, okay, and comes over and takes over your music industry and your movie industry. and your news. Try to not find rainbows in your news today. Anderson Cooper and half of them I don't know their names, but I mean you can't. CNN, they're all connected to the rainbow now, aren't they? They're all friends of Dorothy. That's where that term "friends of Dorothy" came from, folks. Most Emmys aren't familiar with it anymore, but long ago and far away, if two rainbow people wanted to identify each other, they would ask one another, "Are you a friend of Dorothy?" Why? How did they all know that saying a friend of Dorothy, that the movie was connected to the rainbow agenda? I mean, right there, the song "Somewhere Over the Rainbow," and then Kermit the Frog singing a "Rainbow Connection." Gee, you think there might be a rainbow connection out there? Yeah, well, it goes back pretty darn far. I'm amazed that people are this dumb in America. They can't put these things together. Okay, these are the people that have been attacking you from England for a long time. They already, why do you think Tom Holland is in every freaking movie you see now? This is England taking money back, and they put it in the news before it happened. We already knew it was going to happen. I mean, it had been happening for a long time, but we knew they were amping up their coffers when the Queen puts in a news story that she created a drive-through movie at one of her houses. A drive-through movie theater. Gee, that's her putting out propaganda saying, "Hey, I'm about to reap some windfall from Hollywood and America." Why does she knight why is Elton John a knight and Ozzy Osbourne? Isn't that interesting? Mac Osborne was Liz Oswald in the military. We got the video talking about it with Baker. And Baker was dating Oswald, wasn't she? And writes books about gay pedophiles like David Ferry. Gee, you think these things might be connected? Do you think the Baker family has been attacking America for the Queen for a very long time? Yeah. Well, I mean, they're all the strippers, aren't they? They're the strippers union in the music industry from Canada, like we already showed with Rob Baker. Baker investigated Lincoln, but Baker was right there in the hospital with Reagan when he was shot, probably wishing he had died, I suspect. But he managed to live. And who attacked Reagan, by the way? Was it Moore or Wright? I always get it backwards. Let's see. Shot Reagan. I think it was or not Reagan. Ford. Who shot Ford? Shot President Ford. I'll look that up real quick. I always forget. I'm going to look up the name real quick. It's either Wright or Moore. I always get it backwards. I don't want to say the wrong one because I said it once before. Ford emerged from the post entrance of the St. Francis Hotel. Oh, gee, Hugh's middle name, isn't it? Oh, Sarah Jane Moore. I thought it was Moore. That's right. So Moore. Oh, Sarah Jane. Sarah Jane Baker. Isn't that interesting? The longest serving. I just don't put that together. Sarah Jane Baker is the longest serving transgender in prison in England. And there you have Sarah Jane Moore shot President Kennedy. Heck on it. Shot President Ford. And Ford's real name was King and Gardner. Oh, Hugh's relatives. Related to the King family and, author Stephen King's related to that family, who's married into the Gardner family. And all these families are the Gardner families, and the Gardners goes back a very long time in this country. That's why you have actresses like Ava Gardner, and you still have remnants of the Gardners and the Harris families that are all together today, and Bakers related to them through marriage. Isn't that interesting? They always come back together, always to the same place, always killing presidents. And that's why you had Johnny Depp recently. Hey, how long has it been since an actor killed a president? Maybe he knows people who can do it. He might know some of the connections that are in the White House right now. Or he did that when Trump was president. So he probably doesn't want to kill this one, I'm sure. And no, I'm not asking anybody to do that. So this is not a call to do anything illegal. So don't zap my channel for that. That would be absolutely ridiculous. I want real justice in this country. I want people to wake up and understand that this has been going on in this country for a very long time. And I believe personally, my own view, that the rainbow is a mental disorder. Okay. A mental disorder should not be illegal per se. Is schizophrenia illegal? Is it illegal to be a schizophreniac? Is that how you say it? It's not illegal. But you should be helped and monitored. And, I know some people with schizophrenia, and they have help. They have people who help them if they, because they shouldn't be alone. Because, sometimes they say some pretty weird things and think people are out to get them and are gonna kill them and stuff, right? And they'll act out violently, and they think the police are at their door when they're not. Things like that. And they do act out violently. Okay, so, who are some of the most violent people in America today? Transgenders. Like that guy in Michigan who hung a guy upside down and cut his balls off and ate him in front of him. I mean, these people are sick, okay? There's a mental disorder there. It's not something that you just overlook. The most violent people who attack, transgender got that crazy mindset. They don't just kill you, they freaking mutilate you. You know what I mean? It's obviously a mental disorder. Now, is it illegal? No. But for heaven's sakes, it's nothing to have a parade about either. These are not the poor persecuted people. These are the people who have all the power, who are persecuting you. They've got the backing of the freaking queen, for heaven's sakes, as they take all your money and mock you to your face and put people like Peter Buttigieg, which is obviously a mocking attack on Americans dumb enough to vote for them. And they just make fun of you while they do it and attack you, and you're helpless and hopeless and can't do anything about it. But they're the poor victims, aren't they? Poor, unfortunate rainbow people. And Peter Buttigieg, right there from where Judith Vary Baker's from. Just a coincidence, of course, because the whole world is just nonstop coincidences. There are no ends to the coincidences. Everything on earth is just a coincidence. Oh, and her dad just happened to work for Chrysler in Detroit, right there where he was building assembly lines, right there where DeLorean had come out of before he started his company. Yeah. Oh, and DeLorean has the bottom line on when he's arrested. Time magazine says the bottom line busted right there on the cover with John DeLorean. Oh, and the press secretary, Fletcher Neville, steals Hugh's trademark bottom line and says, writes a book called The Bottom Line. Isn't that amazing? Everybody's still in the same trademark. Using the same trademark, and all these people were gay pedophiles killing presidents. That's the real bottom line, folks. Forget WWE still in trademark bottom line, and I think his real name's Anderson, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, one of the rapists, right? And coming out and saying, "Oh, and that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so." Oh, why can't you watch a single episode of Fox News without Sean Hannity or one of the others saying the word "bottom line"? Listen to it every episode, every news story. Oh, and NBC just started Bottom Line stories. Gee, why do they toss that bottom line around so much? Because it's the stolen trademark from Hugh, who was attacked by the rainbow community when he was a 4-year-old little boy by pedophiles. His brother was murdered and buried in a field in Pennsylvania where Dr. Oz is running for Senate. And now you have to have the bottom line on every freaking news channel, the pretend right and the left. Okay, Fox News is no more right wing than CNN and ABC. They're all the same people. They still have the same rainbow community running it. Oh, and gee, and where's Rupert Murdoch that runs Fox News out of? Oh, out of England, out of Ireland. Gee, and he puts on little tries to claim Hugh's videos to this day, saying they belong to him, even though he's just doing what I'm doing right now and just making a video of him talking about his own life. And Rupert Murdoch from Storyful tries to go on there and put copyright claims, and he's not playing anything in the background. He's not playing any music. Tries to say it's his video. Gee, you think they really want to bury the bottom line? They already buried it under the rubble of the World Trade Center and told you that, oh, another Osama bin Laden, did the attacks. Gee, or is it Tim Osmond? I don't know, but it's Oz, isn't it? CIA. Well, obvious CIA story that Osama bin Laden was friends with President Bush before it all happened, wasn't he? And gee, and his brother or nephew, one of them has a big old huge house for sale, big old mansion for sale out in Los Angeles. Oh, right there with the movies. Do you think the Avengers knew that when they put in it was the guy that he was like a fake Osama bin Laden, and he fought Iron Man and all that. He was supposed to be the guy with the 10 rings, and then it turned out, he was pretending they know this in the movie, so they tell you, that Osama was just an actor. That's why he keeps saying, "Oh, I was just an actor." Oh, okay. In real life, he's British. Oh, what a shocker! So that's what's going on in your country. People are too scared to call in because they don't know what to do about truth. And, if they come in, they'll just say, "Well, why you got to be so mean to the rainbow community? Why you got to be so mean? They're so poor and helpless and attacked all the time, and they can't do anything for themselves. Why they just have all of Hollywood and the presidency and half of Congress is just all rainbows, but they're poor and defenseless, and you just got to attack them because you're just a mean old white guy." I have no voice. I can't even say the words. I have to say rainbow in place of the words, because if I use the words, you know what happens, don't you? But who's really being attacked? Well, I didn't vote for this president. I guarantee you that. They're attacking me while they shove it in your face every day, don't they? Shove in your face more rainbows, more rainbows. Now you can't even hear from the White House except through the rainbow, huh? Just put another rainbow in there. Oh, not just any rainbow, on intentionally a black woman. Oh, there's Josephine Baker and the Rainbow Tribe right there in your White House. They succeeded in their attacks, didn't they? You have no voice and no ability. You've been neutered. You've been raped of everything, just like they did to Hugh in 1957. They've done that to the entire country now. If this is your first video and you're watching this and it's confusing, well, go back and watch the interviews. I mean, Hugh explains what happened to him in Osborne's basement, Governor Osborne's basement, with Wallace and Long and Hall, Daryl Hall from Hall and Oates. Yeah, he was 13 years old or 12 years old or so at the time. Sitting there jacking off on his face, for heaven's sakes. What the heck, people? And you listen to their music? Oh, and Mick Jagger, who killed the Kennedys, and he's married to Hall. Oh, gee, and Hall's handed the loaded gun to Alec Baldwin, didn't he? Think it's related? Well, gee, Baldwin was married to Hugh's sister, not Alec Baldwin, Brian Baldwin. And Rusty Killen used to call him and say, "I'm going to kill your brother-in-law," and he did. and then bragged about it afterward. Gee. And then he called and he said, oh, now my name is Rusty Killen. And now you have Halls handing on the set of Rust a loaded gun to Alec Baldwin. Why? Because he's a federal publisher. Because that's how you mark people to make movies. That's how you make a lot of money. That's how you replace and attack people. So there's Baldwin, the president's, not this president, but the founder of the writers of the Constitution, Baldwin, that family, America's founding families, Alec Baldwin's related to that family, being attacked by Halls right here in the present day, just like President Kennedy. And nobody can put it together. Who killed the Kennedys? After all, it was you and me, says Mick Jagger, as he's married to Hall. Josephine Baker and the Rainbow Tribe. Oh, but there's no historical evidence that you're being replaced. I mean, you're just replaced right now in all media. You're just replaced right now in sports. you're just replaced right now in all of Hollywood. But there's nothing going on. What am I supposed to do? Walk around with a blindfold on my eyes and just say I don't see anything at all? Anderson raped Hugh and Cooper kidnapped Hugh's daughter, and you have Anderson Cooper right there on CNN. Not by coincidence. They did that to mark the families of the founders who wrote your Constitution, who created this country, who had the military power in this country. That's why they killed Hugh's uncle, Admiral Byrd, in 1957, the same year that Osborne kidnapped Hugh and raped him right there in the basement with those other boys and men. Some of them were boys, some of them were men. Sick world. I mean, gosh, I'm from a small town. I didn't even know this crazy stuff happened to the degree that it happens in this country, but it does. And it's been doing it a long time. And that's why Jefferson Davis was apprehended in a dress, or at least that's the news story they gave you. Because that's the South's dirty little secret, isn't it? Isn't that why there's an unbelievable number of gays and pedophiles in the South? I'm sorry, rainbows in the South. A lot more than anybody wants to admit, because it came with slavery. Because that's what they did with slaves, for heaven's sakes. They didn't just pick cotton, they freaking raped them. Okay, and that's that inspired your rainbow attack on America, and why the rainbow always rides the coattails of black rights. Goes back to the Civil War, folks. But I'm crazy and I'm stupid and I can't, I mean, it's just demonstrable since the Civil War. It's just historically accurate. That's all. I mean, it's just 100 years of movies and 50 plus, 70 plus years of news, Walter Cronkite and Barbara Walters was watching Kennedy on CBS, and on CBS, Kennedy's press secretary writes the bottom line, and then later CBS's Major Garrett comes and kills one of Hugh's wives and hides it with, guess what? A transgender called Manning. Mm-hmm. So he breaks the Manning story while he's killing Hugh's wife on the Manning Ranch. Oh, there it is. CBS again. Major Garrett, CBS. But if this is your first stream, you're just like, man, what did I just step into? I mean, go back and start putting the pieces together and be smart enough to ask lots of questions. Okay, you've been attacked and replaced. It's not maybe you might be being replaced. You've already been replaced. Okay, just because you see a white face and you think he's a straight guy because he's married to Dr. Jill there. Yeah, his name is Biden for a reason, just like Peter Butt Gig from South Bend Inn is named that. Okay, he is a den of bisexual commitment, and the whole rainbow community knows it. It's not my fault you don't. I mean, at least the ones that matter. Probably not the average guy, but like, anybody in Hollywood or, the writers and the newscasters and the White House staff and all that, they know this. People working for the FBI and CIA, they understand this stuff. The average guy on the street doesn't know anything, doesn't know his butt from a hole in the ground. I mean, we live in a nation that is so in a box, and you can't blame Americans for being this level of stupid. I mean, we're the most propagandized people on earth, and bar none. I mean, China is not propagandized to any extent like America's propagandized. Because, I mean, over there, they know at least the government runs the media, right? Here, you have to argue with people. You don't know that the White House pays they pay for stories with taxpayer money and gives you and makes contracts with CNN and Fox News and CBS and all these people. That's why you never ever hear any of Hugh's truth while they use it and put it down and mark it constantly, but they never tell you the story. That's why you never hear about the civil rights case that was worth trillions of dollars that was at the Pentagon on 9/11. You never hear that story a single time. Sean Hannity doesn't tell you. Glenn Beck doesn't tell you. Jesse Ventura doesn't tell you, does he? But they're your right. They're on the right. They're your conservatives. They care, right? They don't attack the rainbow or tell you the history that I just gave you. That's because they're buying contracts from the White House, just like CNN, just like CBS, to give you your news. That's propaganda, folks. This is why Barack Obama even made it by executive order legal for the White House to do it. He signed an executive order saying it's okay to give. They even called it propaganda. The executive order said it's okay for the White House to give you propaganda. So they quit lying about it. I mean, to an extent. I mean, obviously the propaganda is a lie, but I mean, people are so stupid they don't even have to really cover their tracks that well. This country, I can talk to Muslims in Pakistan and do occasionally, and they get it. They're like, yeah, we see that. That sounds like exactly what probably happened in this country. Talk to an American. Oh, there's no an attack against white straight people. You're just like, oh my gosh. I mean, have you opened a textbook or, well, not anything made in the last 50 years or 100 years, but have you ever opened up any old books? Have you studied anything? I mean, you could still find the truth. Did you listen to Hugh Squire himself tell you his story and how he was attacked by governors who killed kids in Michigan? Oh, and he had in Warren, Michigan. Oh, and he had the Warren report because there was a war in Michigan. Oh, and Hoffa just happened to disappear in the same place. What a coincidence. And who was the first person that the FBI detained? Oh, Hugh Squire again. Well, his mother-in-law was with Jimmy Hoffa the night of his disappearance. Folks, you have been taken over. Your rights, your freedom, it's all gone already.